Back when I was a kid, along with many others, I was incredibly impressed with the Disney Pixar movie Finding Nemo. And after watching the movie, and considering how good it is even to this day, I'm sure all of us had a very similar reaction.
Listen, you guys can't fool me. I'm like 6 years old and I just watched this really cool Disney movie, and I know you guys are planning to escape from this tank, okay? I know you have some intricate and cool plan. Well, guess what? As a young child, you're not gonna fool me. I know. I just saw it. I know you guys are planning some big heist. You're not going to escape from this tank you see here. You're not going to escape. I'm going to watch you guys all day and all night. And I don't care if anyone says I'm crazy. I know, because Finding Nemo showed me that this is possible.
Now, when you compare that reaction to the video game, specifically the version that we're going to be taking a look at today, Finding Nemo on the Game Boy Advance, published by THQ and released back in 2003, the reaction of many people, including myself for this review, was this: meh. For today's video being Finding Nemo, I was kind of hoping that this one was going to be a good licensed game published by Pixar, because quite frankly, of all the games that we've looked at here on the channel that Pixar has worked on, whether it be The Incredibles or any of the Cars games, they've all been pretty mediocre. And unfortunately, Finding Nemo on the Game Boy Advance is no exception to this rule. I'm going to break it down here for you guys briefly, because when it comes to this game, especially one, again, I grew up with, I was kind of wondering how well this one was actually going to hold up. There's no real story to speak of in this game, unlike reviews that I've talked about with The Incredibles or Cars, which had a very loose retelling of the movies and had some very janky looking cutscenes that just didn't really look that good to begin with. Finding Nemo really doesn't have that. There's no plot to follow in this There's no plot to follow from the movie. I mean, it kind of is what it is. Events happen involving characters like the tank gang from the dentist office, or Nemo, Marlin, and Dory showing up and doing various things throughout the game to help them escape, and there's really nothing here. There's no in-depth storytelling here, guys, not even by poor licensed game standards. Visually speaking, this game looks okay as well. I mean, compared to something like Cars, it does look better. It looks flashier with all the various colors, whether it be the fish, the ocean aesthetic, the various mini-games with the animation. The game looks fine enough, and the soundtrack isn't too horrible either, especially when we're comparing it to other Pixar licensed games. This soundtrack is something better, I think, than The Incredibles or Cars. I mean, it fits the theming of the game. There isn't really much music to talk about, and there's really only one main track that I really liked. But, yeah, I mean, visuals and music are what you would expect from one of these licensed games. It's fine. We're talking about licensed games here on this channel, specifically the Disney Pixar licensed games. There really isn't much to talk about when it comes to the story or music or anything like that. The gameplay is what helps each one of these games stand out. The Incredibles was a side-scrolling beat-em-up game. Cars, as you would expect, was a racing game. Finding Nemo, it's a mini-game collection, essentially, where you're going from left to right, avoiding enemies, having collectibles, making it to the end of each of the different stages. It's platform-esque as well. You know, you have different stages and different sections from the movie that you can participate in, going from left to right, avoiding obstacles and enemies, and again, participating in a bunch of mini-games to progress the non-existent story that's in the game. I mean, it works for what it is. It does not stand out by any means. I mean, once you guys see the footage here of the gameplay, this is pretty much what you do throughout the entirety of the game. I mean, it works for what it is, kind of similarly to what I talked about The Incredibles. While the beat 'em up gameplay in that game was fine for what it was. It wasn't very revolutionary, but it worked for a licensed title. And Finding Nemo's no exception. I mean, the gameplay here's fine. It works for what it is. It's a minigame collection. That's really all I have to say about Finding Nemo on the Game Boy Advance, guys. When I look at a lot of these games, especially licensed titles, typically I have more to say. Even with Cars International and the other licensed games I've discussed throughout this video, I've had more to say about, because there's more to the story, there's more to the gameplay. Maybe there's some unique music tracks to talk about, or some cool visuals, or some cool side content, or whatever else. But Finding Nemo on the Game Boy Advance doesn't really have that. I mean, from everything I've talked about throughout this video, with the lack of a story of any sort, pretty average visuals, non-existent soundtrack, and gameplay that works for what it is, being a minigame collection, I mean, the game overall, you're getting a licensed game that's pretty mediocre here in every single area. It's not the worst licensed game I've ever covered. I was honestly expecting to have to do one of those bar sketches at the beginning of this video to get through the review, but looking back on this game and seeing what it really has to offer compared to other licensed titles like International, which is worse, I think, Finding Nemo on the Game Boy Advance is fine. I mean, it works for what it is. It's a licensed game based off the popular Pixar movie. If you like what you see from this video, or you're curious to check out a decent licensed game on a handheld, give it a shot. I mean, play it for a little bit, you'll probably get at least a little bit of enjoyment out of it. But when looking at this title, this is by far the most mediocre licensed game I think I've looked at that really does play it safe. Not a horrible video game, but it is far from good. Very, very mediocre experience. And that's all I got for this one, guys. Thank you guys for checking out this review of Finding Nemo on the Game Boy Advance. Really do appreciate you guys checking out these videos as always. If you guys did enjoy the video, give it a like if you guys did enjoy, because it does really help out the channel. Subscribe if you guys want to catch future videos like this one in the future when it comes to reviews, gaming collaborations, and some new gaming history videos I kind of want to do with you guys too, similar to the Game Boy Advance video that I did, which was very enjoyable. I have some other topics in mind for that one, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And comment down below what you guys think about the video. If you have any games you want me to check out, have any of you guys played Finding Nemo on the Game Boy Advance? Are there any other obscure licensed games that I should check out, regardless if they're good or not? Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section down below. And, like I mentioned before, subscribe if you want to keep up with that content. But that's all from me. Until next time, this has been Ryan from the Nostalgia Factor saying, keep on gaming.